Now we have episode 3 in our Mindset to Result podcast, and today guest in our show is Steve Hammond. He is 10x qualified certified coach with Grant Cardone, and also he is a host of the podcast, which is called Money, Mindset, and Mentoring. Hi, Steve, and welcome to our studio today.
Thank you so much for having me, Elena. I really appreciate being here.
And today we would like you to share with us your success story and how mindset helped you to be where you are today, to become that person who you are today. Would you like to share with us?
Yeah, I'd love to. One of the things about a success story is success usually means you've overcome something. And so most successes start with some form of adversity. Now, some adversities are large and daunting, and some are small. And then the success is a propelling basically from that point going forward. For me, I my success really started as in my youth, in the sense that I've always had a spirit of building. Now, that might be companies, that might be building in a fitness, that might be building in family, but I've always wanted to build something. Now, when you build things, sometimes they break. And so my journey started off in 2005 when I first became self employed. And it was a wonderful moment, looking around saying, wow, this is the world is my oyster. I can create whatever I want. And I built at that time, I was in the construction space. I built a company up to 20 employees. We're doing large houses. Some of the houses we did were up to 50,000 square feet. So these were very large houses. And it was going wonderful until it wasn't. And in 2014, I ran into some very big walls. Unfortunately, had to close the company under duress. Massive amount of money that was owed to me that was not collectible, and I was in a rut and I didn't know what to do. And so one of the things that I'd always developed since I was a kid was a mindset that was, I would consider, unbreakable. And I think that's probably, when you're looking at anybody who is successful, they need to start off with something that allows them to have an unbreakable mindset, because they're going to run into roadblocks. They're going to run into challenges. And if they don't start off with being unbreakable, they'll never get to where they want to go.
Yes, it is very true. It is resilience is, I would say, the key for achieving results, achieving goals, and stay on track despite of what comes on the way. And my definition of success also the to stay on the track whatever it takes, and
Mm,
resilience is the key. When
absolutely.
it helped you else in your life, when you faced that challenge and you just stayed on the track and went through.
Well, the thing, when you look at other elements of your life, they all are generally in alignment. So whether it's how you spend time with your family and you're present with your family, how you spend time in your business or in any physical endeavors, personally, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has been one of the biggest things that's really helped me develop that resilience. One of the big coaches in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a guy by the name of John Danaher. And he says the one thing that Brazilian Jiu Jitsu does is it helps you to make decisions under duress. Because let's face it, if somebody is 374 pounds and you're 180 pounds and they're trying to crush you and they're on top of you putting a lot of pressure, I mean, you could freak out. You could just tap and give up, or you can start to work on a plan. Because the big thing is, I think, when people are making decisions under stress, generally speaking, they do not move to their highest level of performance. What they do is they move to their lowest level of training. And so the resilience is that ability to just step up a slight notch above the lowest to maybe the second lowest level of training. And I think that's what resilience will give you.
Yeah, exactly. And I also think that resilience come from believing in yourself and seeing bigger picture that is just this current moment. When we have that big picture, it gives us the strength to move forward and break through.
Absolutely. I think you have to be tied to something that's greater than you at that moment to where you are to pull you forward. Because I think if you operate just in the present, or even worse, if you operate in the past, I think the past is probably one of the worst mindsets I think you can have um, when looking at trying to develop yourself, because you can't change it. The past, whether it's a successful past, whether it's a not successful past, back in the day, if I constantly focused on the fact that I had to shut my business down under duress, I would never be able to get to where I am today. What I had to do is park that and say, okay, I've got a problem. How do I solve that in the present by looking into the future and saying, where do I need to go to? And then start pulling that future into the present. So that a detachment from the past and the tie to the future allows us really to be able to get to where we want to go, especially when we in today's moment put in proper measurement tools to ensure that we're on the track all the time.
Yes, and resilience together with using our high mental faculties such as imagination and will that gives us that ability to hold in our mind that picture what we want to achieve, where we want to be, and who we have to become to get there in our mind to exclusion to everything else.
Mm,
So willpower keeps us moving forward and focus on our goal.
absolutely. Absolutely. Willpower is so incredibly important. I think the difference between somebody who achieves something and somebody who doesn't is definitely willpower, because when that breaks, when that person gives up, usually it's moments before they've hit a success. And I think one of the things that people need to focus on the wins that you're having on a daily basis, no matter how big and how small. Each of those wins that you have is going to sustain your willpower just a little bit further. It's like a battery for your willpower. You're just dripping in a little bit of charge every single time as you focus on those little wins. And because then it's going to create better sustaining power to be able to get to the next level.
Yes, and Steve, tell us please about the role of mentors in your life and achieving success. How was it important for you to have the good mentor?
Well, I think before you talk about the mentorship, I think what you need to talk about is um, being open to be able to be mentored. In other words, to have the humility to say that you don't know everything and you need that external input to be able to develop yourself. Most people think that asking for help is quitting, whereas I believe that asking for help is doubling down on your goals and allowing yourself to check your ego at the door and reach out to somebody who's going to get you where you need to go. Because if they've already been there, they've already been to this, the proverbial promised land, then they know the path. And so being able to work with somebody who already knows the path of how you need to get there shortens the time frame. It allows you to skip all the pitfalls and allows you to be able to become the successful person that you're looking to become, because you've got that person with a external impact focusing on your outcomes as well.
Yes, and everyone who achieved success understand that there is so much what they still don't know, and everyone has the mentor who will show him the way and hold him accountable to get out of comfort zone and go through this transformation and do what is required to become the new person every day to transform and get those results, because the new results always are out of comfort zone, And it is the mentor who see the potential of us which we don't see sometimes. Because when we are inside our paradigms, inside of these programs which are running on autopilot in our subconscious mind, we might even not see what are our limiting beliefs, what are those blocks. And when we have the mentor who sees this from outside, this is the shortest and fastest way how we can achieve our goals. Do you agree?
Absolutely. And the thing is, the mentor needs to have a different set of skills than the mentee. So, for example, when you look at the Kobe Bryant's coach, Mr. Grover, and Grover was an amazing coach for Kobe. He was not a great basketball player. When you look at John Danaher, who coached Gordon Ryan, who's the number one jiu-jitsu player, who coached George St. Pierre, who is the best MMA, one of the goats of all time. When you look at Michael Jordan's coach, when you look at any of the coaches out there for the major athletes, these coaches aren't the best players of the sport. They're not the best athletes. They're the best coaches. And the big difference is the athlete needs to be self-absorbed. The athlete needs to be myopically focusing on what their success is through their own actions, where the coach can only be successful through the actions of others. The coach has to be has to have so much humility to be able to say, it's not about me, it's about them. And that's the only way I'm going to be successful is through them.
Yeah, such a great attitude. What do you do now, and what makes you fulfilled? What is your passion that you wake every morning and get excited that you are moving forward your goal every day?
Yeah, my passion is obviously my family. I love my kids. I love my wife. I love everything about having a family and seeing the development of my children and knowing that they're going to be strong in the world that's upcoming because it's going to be difficult for them. It's not going to be easy. The When I look at my professional, it's sort of my professional life. It resonates the same thing. The people that I work with, I want to ensure that they are protected, that they are powerful, that they are successful. And what drives me is being part of their journey and helping them get to where they want to go. Because nothing gives me better fulfillment than seeing somebody go from a state of A and getting to a state of B and helping them make those small little tweaks because it never is something really big. It's always something that's just a minor course correction that helps somebody gets from A to B in a faster, more effective way with better impact.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You are the host of the podcast Money, Mindset, and Mentoring. What motivated you to start this podcast?
I think podcasting is probably one of the number one ways to be able to communicate with the people that you know, with the people that you don't know, and to communicate with the people just like we're doing today that you're getting to know in a one-to-one basis. And so I believe that podcasting is the number one way for anybody to build their business today through developing great relationships with great people, both one to one as well as one to many.
Yeah, I'm totally agree, and I feel so excited that I started my podcast recently, and I have been thinking about this for years, and just was thinking that because of technical things and it takes time to manage it, I was postponing. And recently, I really appreciate that you introduced me to podcast AI technology and your amazing team and support that gives this so easy and effortless.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And likewise, I'm so excited to be part of your journey. You bring such an energy into the community, and I think you have such a purposeful action on a daily basis that I think that's truly something to inspire people to follow what you're doing And I'm excited to see where you go next.
Thank you. If it would be one advice you would say to people who listening us now in order to achieve their big goals and dreams, what would that be?
I think don't get stuck in the mud of planning. Planning certainly has its purpose. And I think if you're building an airplane that's getting off the ground and people are going to be going up in the sky, yeah, I think 2 or 3 times measure, then cut is certainly in order. If you're in a situation of putting out a podcast, or you're in a situation of picking up that phone and talking to a client, the world's not going to end. People aren't going to lose their lives if you make a mistake. So understand the causality of the decision, and understand that if you make a mistake, especially in sales or business marketing, it's not going to be the end of the world. One thing is not going to end everything, but one thing is going to start everything. And so get into massive action as quickly as possible, because through massive action, you're going to be able to see the course as it presents itself, because you're constantly moving into the future through that action rather than being stuck in the present through planning.
I noticed that people think that they're not enough, like many people think that they're not enough, and they have that fear and doubt to go and speak like openly like we do now. And many of people, and I believe that everyone is unique, and many have so powerful stories that they can share with the world, and so many people can learn from their stories and from their success. And I believe that podcast is the best way how people can start showing up to the world, improving themselves in this process after they start. So every time they can be better and better, connect with new people, have wonderful guests as we have today, and build their success. And it is important to believe in yourself, have faith, and know exactly what you do, what you want to achieve. Have that big vision, have that big goal, and move towards doing every day what it takes.
Absolutely. I think that's very well said.
Thank you for being with us today and sharing about your perception regarding success and your story. And I wish you the great day and looking forward to see you again.
And thank you very much as well. And I wish you all the best in your journey. I know you're going to do absolutely amazing things.
Thank you. See you soon.